This week in the podcast, we're talking about whether we are being rushed into the next gen or sweaty new card investments and Switch 2's family impact. We also ask if games are still worth completing 100% in our main topic. And on the Pixel Pick Showdown, it's for the sickos as we crown the best game you should 100%. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parent Podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents Podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kelvin. Today I'm of course joined by the bearded one, Scott, the tastemaker Curry. How are we, Scott?
I'm very well. Very well. I mean, yawning minutes before this episode has started, but we're caffeinated, we're hydrated, and we're, ready to penetrate it. Ready to penetrate the minds and souls of the audience.
Sheer minutes into this show.
You know what you're getting. But, it's been one of those days where it's warm 1 second and then it's cold. You fire the washing out because it's warm and then it rains. And then you go for the walk with the dog because it's dry and it rains again. And I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it, Liam. I just want consistency. I don't ask for much. I really don't. I just want a little bit of consistency, but we don't seem to be getting it.
Yeah, all I ask for is a crisp autumn day. It's sunny, but it's crisp. You know what I mean? I can still wear a jacket outside. That's it, And on that note, you can tell this is a podcast with two old dads because here we are just talking about the weather. Up next, roadworks.
Roadworks. Well, don't get me bloody started.
No, I'm not going to.
Ridiculous, man. I live in Roadwork Central.
Oh, mate, they're telling me. I feel like ever since I've moved to this house, they're trying to keep me in it. I can't get out.
It's a disgrace. It is a disgrace. But that's my gripes for this evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. Bit tired. I had a 4 a.m. start today, so I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. So if I all of a sudden start to, nearly did, trip up over my words, you know why. Just bear with me, listeners. We're going to get through this. I'm sure everybody that listens to this show, they've all had days like this where you start it a little bit earlier than you really anticipated. So you just kind of crack on with it and take any form of caffeine that's in front of you, really. But yeah, bar that, I'm good, man. It's been a good week of gaming. Excited to kind of talk more about that. A lot of stuff's been happening, in the gaming world. A lot of exciting things, a lot of not so pleasant things. But lots of stuff to update people on. I'm excited about the main topic this week because it's one I think we've been hovering around for a few weeks. And I should say before we really launch into things, thank you to everybody that has been checking us out. We can see you coming to join us every week. It does mean the world. And yes, putting out the rallying cry for more reviews and people to share us. It's working. So you're making a big difference to us and we appreciate you. That's all I want to say. And
appreciate everything you do for us. It's lovely. Thanks for doing that for us. It's great.
And also, there's some exciting things to come on the show. We're going to be making a few changes to it, how you hear and maybe see us. But yeah, we'll be excited to kind of give more details on that once we are ready to go. But I suppose we should just get some housekeeping out the road, Scott, before we get into it. Let's do it. So, of course, for those listening, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, the weekly podcast by parents who game for those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming whilst raising little ones. Now, if you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello and share your thoughts with us at pixelparents.bsky.social on Blue Sky, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. And if you like what you hear and you want to support the show, you can leave a 5-star review and share this podcast online with your friends. That really does help us out. And of course, thank you to everybody that joins us each and every week. So with that out of the way, Scott, what have you been playing this week, good sir?
It's been a good week, if I'm being honest with you. It's been an interesting week. We'll start with the sort of amuse bouche of games to begin with. So, I'd spoken recently about falling into the PlayStation store and using my PlayStation points to buy Deltarune.
Yeah.
And I've got chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure about 5 is there. I can't remember, right? But I know I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'll start there. So I was just coming up to finishing chapter 1 last week when we recorded. And I've now finished chapter 2, and I finished chapter 3 last night. They're not long. You can spend so much time, or you can spend absolutely no time in them. And it's always one of those things where you take a step too far and you've missed something back the way. You're like, you bastard. Like, I want to go back and get it. But the story takes you down a different route. But it is amazing. Like, it gets better every moment that I play it. Like, it's like having an episode of a Cartoon Network show just never ending. Like a 13-hour episode of Cartoon Network that you play. It's outrageous how good it is. Toby Fox and the people that make the music on this game are wizards, because it is just incredible what they're doing. One of the highlight of it has been chapter 3 so far, where it kind of culminates in a TV show, like a TV game show, but it presents itself like that, and like it's constantly flickering in and out and stuff. It's just ridiculous. Like, I reckon that you, and I don't say this lightly, Liam, I reckon that you could play this game and you would enjoy it. There's a lot of heartfelt moments in it, and there's a lot of moments in it that like are like nostalgic for like 90s gamers or 90s people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it harkens to the whole song of Radio Gaga, like where you long for the sort of the warm embrace of radio, but the issue now is that TV is the one that's dying, and everything's starting to sort of fall into phones and all that, and streaming and everything, and it's just incredible what they're doing with it. I honestly can't get enough of it. So I've got chapter 4 tonight, and the minute we stop recording, I'm going to go and I'm going to put it on and I'm going to play it for hours, because this is what's keeping me up at night. I'm tired because I'm playing fucking Deltarune for hours and on end at night. My wife's obviously a teacher, and she's got sort of last minute assessments and work to do for finishing up the school year. So she's just like, if you want to go upstairs and play something, on you go. And who am I? Who am I to say no to that offer?
Absolutely.
It's disgusting, but I really do think that there's a game there for Liam Kelvin. I think that there's something that you would quite enjoy about it. I think it's got a different feel than Undertale.
Yeah.
And I think that Undertale can be quite difficult to get into unless you're really wanting to, whereas Deltarune just it drags you through it. Like, you don't get a moment to stop. It's just constantly bombarding you with like heartfelt moments, really stupid jokes, incredible music, daft wee characters and stuff like that. It's a tattooist's dream. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird characters on there that I love, and I'm just dying to get back to it. But midway through the week, I checked our emails. You know, I like to do that every so often because I'm the professional one here. I like to sift through the emails, and noticed we'd got code for a wee game that popped up, called Chronicles of the Wolf, which is a new Metroid adventure game. A Metroidvania, so to speak. It's more Vania than Metroid, though. Is that how you quantify these things? It's more than one than the other. It's more Vania than Metroid. But I saw it on one of these sites, and I thought, you know what, that looks really interesting, and I'm really in the mood for a game like that. And it has scratched an itch that I didn't realise that I had, Liam. It has been incredible working my way through it. Maybe 10, 13 hours long. I got stuck halfway through, which is great in one of these games that hasn't released yet, because you've got nowhere to go and look at the answers. Yeah. But you play as a character called Matteo Lombardo, and he's like an apprentice assassin for this Rose Order or something like that. And he, Matteo Lombardo, Rose Cross Order, I couldn't not get that right, which is basically an old sort of team put together to hunt down these monsters, and that's what you have to do. You've got to go and find this beast, and it's got everything that you could go to expect. It's got a swamp, it's got forests, it's got towns and stuff. It's like Simon's Quest, where you've got towns and a day and night system and stuff as well, where things change, but you go through these towns and you can upgrade your equipment, you can buy new equipment, you can spend all your money on potions because you keep on getting hit loads, which, you know, not something that I've done very often. Wink, wink. But it has been an incredible ride the whole way through it. I don't think that it does much in terms of, you know, pushing forward the genre, but I don't think it has to. I think that it does everything that it does to do really competently. And for someone that isn't really into these games as much, it is, honestly, it's been brilliant. Like, getting double jumps, triple jumps, getting all these different upgrade paths and stuff like that to your weapons and everything else there as well, and your movement. It's just been incredible.
Yeah.
But
do you have a score? Would be that far
I mean, yeah, I finished it. It's got multiple endings in it, so depending on some of the options that you choose, you get different endings for it. And I finished the ending that I'm satisfied with, but there's moments in it where I'm like, I could go back. Like, every single day, I'm like, I could go back and do this. But I think for the time that I've had with it, and for the enjoyment that I got out of it, I'd give it a good 7. Like, I think it's a very competent Metroidvania. I think it, as I say, it does everything that it sets out to do really well. And it's got quite a lot behind it. Like, it's got the voice of Robert Belgrade, who plays Alucard in Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
He's also a voice actor in Tekken and in Soul Blade as well, which, you know, phenomenal games. It's also got soundtracks from people who worked on Castlevania as well. Jeffrey Montoya and Oscar Araujo, I think it is, or something like that. But it's also got a connection to a character from Bloodstained as well, which is pretty cool. So it's just, as I say, it's a really interesting game. I saw the artwork and I saw the actual the gameplay of it, and I thought, you know what, I'll take the jump and see what I can do with it. And I got obsessed with it. I fell out with it a few times because I kept on bloody dying. And I think that will be a point that people will fall off on it, that they won't enjoy the way that the character moves. Like, he walks like you would walk in an old Castlevania game. Like, it's not quick. It's not like Symphony of the Night where you're zipping through and you're flying through the different things. You're mainly walking. You've got a slide eventually, which, if you remember playing Symphony of the Night, you slid a lot, which is your main mode of movement. But it was brilliant. Like, as I say, monsters and stuff in it, enemy variety is up there. And it's one to keep an eye out for. I think that if you were interested in it, I think it's out tomorrow, I want to say, which is the 19th. But again, I could also be completely wrong about that. I'm just going to go and check and just make sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's coming out sort of fairly soon. Yeah.
What platforms is it on?
It's on PlayStation 5. You can get it on Switch, and I'm fairly certain it's also on like Xbox and Steam and all that as well. So
nice.
Pretty much everywhere. Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox and Steam. But you can also get it physically on Nintendo Switch and on PS5 as well. So and it releases on the 19th of June, which is tomorrow. I was right. Look at me making this up on the spot. But it's dead interesting.
Is it on Switch 2 at all? No.
I don't think they're saying that yet. Like, I think it's one of those things where I think there's been an issue with quite a lot of these games that they've not been given the option to go on Switch 2 early enough.
Yeah, not been given dev kits.
Yeah, so I think it's been quite difficult, but for what it does, I mean, get on Switch 1 and then just play it on that. It's not. You're not buying it for its performance. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to perform well wherever you buy it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a game that's right up my alley. I might have to check it out because, any excuse to play a game like that on the Switch 2, I'm there for just now. But no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And anything else? Any other big gems you've been digging into this week?
No, really. In fact, one gem that I've dug into. We spoke about it last week that I had to come back and report back on a certain game.
Yes.
Can't remember what it was called though, so I'm actually just going to go and check. Was it Barbie's Dreamhouse Adventures? Barbie's Project Friendship, whatever one it was.
It was one of the two. It was a Barbie game, though.
It was on Game Pass. And I'm happy to report that it's landed very well with the
Excellent.
wee one. It's you go to this old water park, I want to say, or this old amusement park, and you're then in charge of fixing it all and stuff like that. And there's a lot of talking in it, which she doesn't like, but she likes to play as Barbie and change her clothes and decorate the wee office that you work in and put new carpets and wallpapers and all this stuff in it. So she's pretty obsessed with all that. But so much so that she literally wants to play it every moment of the day. Like every moment of the day before nursery, just after nursery, before she goes to bed. It's like, Daddy, can we go and play Barbie? It's like, oh, yeah, I suppose so. But no, as long as she's having fun, that's the main thing. And the characters talk to each other, so I don't have to tell her what they're saying. They actually talk to each other, so it does all the hard work for me. And it's pretty easy to control. Wee mini games and stuff like that as well. So if you've got wee ones and you're looking to throw them in front of something that will hold their attention for a while, go into Game Pass and get that Barbie game on the go.
Keeps on giving. And I suppose actually, it's a perfect excuse for you to go buy a Xbox Rogue Ally.
Aye.
Just for Barbie.
I mean, just for Barbie, I'll bankrupt our household for a month just to go and buy that.
That's
nonsense.
That's awesome, man. I'll need to try and check it out at some point. I think the Xbox, I've had to kind of rejig my setup because of the Switch 2, just like HDMI's here and there and stuff like that. And I wanted to put the Switch 2 here at my desk, but it's been dominating the living room space. Really made me appreciate that side of things for sure. But yeah, before I get into all that though, it sounds like you've been a busy wee bee this week though.
I mean, I do nothing but work for this podcast, Liam. What can I say? I'm the busiest man in podcasting, I'd say.
That's it. Well, like Irish content creators, we just do all the content and get no pay for it. I just discovered that the other day. It was quite mind-boggling. But
Irish content creators?
There's something to do with like TikTok basically not paying out for views and stuff like that. It's a whole thing, as I would say. But yeah, it's I've missed my point. I'm now distracted by the dog. Like, this dog of mine will not drink water until I press record on this show. So I think he's trying to like weave his way into the show somehow. So if you hear what sounds like the ghost of Fred Astaire having a drink behind me with the tap dance and all, that's him. Every week, man, does my nothing. But yeah, I'll move on to myself then, shall I? Which is again week 2 with the Switch 2, which is it's continuing the momentum, Scott. I know you've got yours and you're playing it in secret, but it's I'm still going to stick with that. But it's just been fantastic, man. Like it really has, like I said, it's cemented for me that Nintendo magic and the family gaming aspect of it. Some surprises, some things I'm not too surprised by. For example, my son is obsessed. It's just constant, can we play Switch 2? Can we play Switch 2? He knows the difference. I was kind of hoping that he thought it would just be a bigger Switch and he'd be like, cool, that's for Dad because it's bigger and I've got the OG Switch, which he's loving, and he picks that up and plays that and he just runs with it. And I'm pleased to say he's been quite responsible with it. He puts it away in its place where it's to go, and we'll charge it. Well, I'm not quite at the point where it's docked in his room. Can't trust him with that yet because he will get up with the birds and they'll be sitting playing. I don't really want to encourage that for as long as I can. But he's been sitting playing, Minecraft and Super Mario Odyssey and stuff. And naturally, the main event here, of course, is Mario Kart World on Switch 2. However, before I dig into that, he's been going back to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because there's been times where I've had certain things paused or if I'm just not available because he wants to races and stuff like that. I said, why don't you play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And I booted that up for him and I thought, it surely can't be that much different. My God. It's so easy to take for granted just how good Mario Kart 8 World looks, or Mario Kart World looks, but so when you go back to 8, Jesus, man, it's rough. Like, and it's not a bad looking game, But I'm like, man, this does look like a step backwards. And it was something in my mind's eye, and I haven't been playing that I was playing. And I was thinking to myself,
has anyone been playing that?
Excuse me. I know. God, you've caught me off guard there. Yeah, it's made me realise just how much polish and love and details went into Mario Kart World. It's easy to take for granted, which I admittedly had done myself. So that's kind of put it up a notch for me. Even though I'm tempted to go back to 8 because I've now got the expansion pass and there's all these other courses that they've kind of old classics and stuff they've put in there that I'm been dying to go back and play. But the main event's World, and the thing that surprised me this week is that it's got my wife and its hooks as well, because she's been getting involved with the family gaming as well. And it's been, once the kids are in their bed, and she turned to me and she goes, "We just get a wee Grand Prix in." I'm like, who is this? Of course, yes. And it's just been good old fun. We've been doing that pretty like most nights this week, just to kind of close the night out. Just like, let's do a couple of Grand Prix. She has her main. She's a Pauline main. Me, I've just been I've just been experimenting with other characters. Usually I'm always Luigi, a shy guy, but in this case I've just been playing a lot of Rosalina and a lot of the baby characters. Just I'm trying to get a different feel for like the hidden meta behind it, because it does get quite sweaty. But I will say though, man, like I think all in all, the amount I've put a lot of hours into it at this point, because that's really the main thing I've been playing solid for the past week and since the Switch 2 arrived. I'd happily give this an 8 again. I'm on a streak of 8s of late.
Nothing but 8s.
Nothing but 8s, man. But I think it's incredibly polished. But I do think that the trick additions to the game, I don't think it's better than the gameplay that you had in 8. There's something about it. I don't feel like the drifting feels as good. I think that the game's naturally, if you're going to go online, you're going to get completely destroyed by the proper sweat out there. The people that know all the tricks, all the rails, all the grinds, the wall runs, etc. And also I'm still trying to nail that down. I enjoy that about it, because for the first time it's like, right, there's something new to try. There's just, I don't think gameplay wise it's maybe reached that echelon of, I think 8 hit a sweet spot. And it's naturally going to happen when you chuck in something new, a new mechanic within there. That's not to say that it's bad. It's just I feel that personally I preferred the gameplay overall in 8 over World. And also it does feel a tad hollow. You know, the more time I've put into it, I mentioned this last week, it does feel a tad hollow, not just in the open world part, which I think's been pretty much well covered at this point. It's more like the characters that are missing. And not to say that every Mario Kart has to be a Nintendo kart or a Smash Brothers kart, effectively, where every character's there. But the addition of, like, you know, the cow and stuff like that, and just some really, really random creatures, it does feel like, right, you've got a few costumes for some, and they don't all have the same amount. It does feel like they're just holding back for the inevitable DLC dip. That is abundantly clear. And for a game that you've paid 80 quid for, I don't necessarily think that's the right thing to do. I think that's kind of taking the piss. If they come out with like a £30 DLC pack and they do the same thing, we'll do 4 courses every 3 months. It's like, no, mate, like I've paid 80 quid, but I don't know. It's just a simple hypothesis at this point. But
it's been something that I've been hearing, on and off the whole time that Mario Kart World has been out.
Yeah.
Because I've not played it, but it's who are the characters missing from like Mario lore?
They do have, it is very much a deep Mario roster that's there. I think it's more the other Nintendo characters you feel that are missing from it.
But if we're saying that it's not a Nintendo kart yet, like, because you know they're going to throw like Link and all that in there, and we're going to have Zelda, a million different versions of Zelda from 100 different games, right? But like, who from Mario could you have put in? Is Birdo in it?
No.
Then put Birdo in there. Put Birdo in every game.
Unless it's like a secret character. Even like Bowser's children are missing from it as well. You got Bowser Jr. You've got like all of his kids missing from it, for example. There's enough in there, like there's enough characters in there where it feels robust and there is variety. There's just something about it. I'm like, maybe it's like I would rather they didn't put like cow and stuff, even though it's hilarious. I'd rather maybe they didn't put that. Even I do admit, for the kids, that is great fun for them. You know, like to pick these type of daft, goofy characters. And I know that's what they're going for, and hence why there is a clear family appeal here, which it's always had. But honestly, this is like as close as you could get to that kind of Wii Sports type moment where like everybody will want to pick this up and play it. My wife even said she's so happy to have Mario Kart back in the house again. And I was like, and you know, like, we both know my wife, but it's she's not a gamer at all. Like both of our wives are not gamers at all, but she'll turn up for Mario Kart. I don't know what it is.
I think it's good that the kids are into it as well. Like that makes a big difference in terms of it all. And it's good to hear. Every single time I've seen it being played, it's always just looked all right. Like it's obviously never had it in hand, so I can't be critical of it. But it's always just looked okay. Like it almost felt like 8. You were always having to do something. And when I've watched people play 8 World, it's been like there's been moments between, like there's been quiet before the storm. Do you know what I mean? Like it's never just like
that's the rhythm of the game.
Roller coaster ride. It's always just like there's a middling part and then things happen. Like I don't know if that's just me getting it from that, but I'll report back in 2027 when I've picked that up.
No, listen, when you pick this up, you'll find a lot to enjoy here. You will. And I think you'll really appreciate that there is a deeper meta here than simply just mastering the drifting. And you could do that, but it's not the optimum way to get around. And there's so many different shortcuts, but it's that sensation of, you know, Mario Kart is the theme park, but now what they've did is they've included the walks between the rides.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the rhythm of the game. You're racing and you've got the race up to the course itself. And some of these courses are like the courses are outstanding. Like when you get in there, they are genuinely amazing. Might be the best Rainbow Road in the entire series. And then when the music hits, you'll have goosebumps and all the rest of it. Like the music is absolutely sensational in this game. That's probably why they've put all that extra 10 quid, all that budget they're making from it. Because I mean, the musicians have worked their asses off. But that all being said, you know, there is just that element of it feels like it's the start of it, almost like this is the Mario Kart world that they will build out. More rides are coming to the theme park. It's kind of got that feeling about it, where you walk away going, that was a great time. I enjoyed it, but they'll put new attractions, new courses and stuff in there that will keep you coming back. The only thing is you will have to pay for admission.
There's a really cool opportunity that you could do with like a Fortnite type event where you drive to a certain part of the track and there's just a big board that says under construction, but you can see it in the background being built. It's like, it'd be cool.
If they did that, it'd be amazing. I mean, we know like the developers have spoke about it like it was an afterthought, effectively. They said that they wanted to do, the pitch was the interconnected tracks, but then they thought, let's just add in the free roam element of it. That wasn't kind of the original design choice for it. So it does kind of have that feeling, but at the same time, it is pretty cool, and I still stand by it. If you've got little ones, it's a perfect way to get them into it without the pressure of a race, because the races are over in minutes, and nobody likes to come in last, and especially, I mean, it's the most chaotic one by far, with the 24 racers in there. The multiplayer is sensational. The online stuff, I could see you just losing yourself to that, because you will want to get better at it. You will want to discover the tricks, etc., which is good. It's that kind of the Tony Hawk addictive nature of it all. But I mean, that all being said, despite the negatives, I still think it's a perfect launch title that brings the family together, and I can't ask for more than that. And it's a game that I'll be playing for some time still, but I won't bring that up anymore on the show. I think I've talked enough about Mario Kart World, but coming back to Switch 2, it has just been like where I've been living this week again. And I've restarted an old favourite that I mentioned last week, Triangle Strategy, because I thought I really want that type of experience just now in my hands that I can just sit back and chill, and it's been perfect. And again, just loving every second of it, just like the first time. What a game. But I think the Switch 2 really just begs you to play a game like this handheld on the go. It's perfect for it. connecting the AirPods to it, just sitting there chilling at night time. I've been taking it up just to my bed just before I go to sleep, just like, right, let's get another wee battle out the road here. Let's progress the story, etc. And it's just taken me back to a couple of years ago when I first got my hands on it. And yeah, I'm now at the point now where I need something else. I will say the Switch 2 launch has probably been missing the game that's coming out next month, which is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which at the time of recording, that Nintendo Direct would have went live. I don't know if you caught it, Scott, but I sat and watched it with my son. I made sure to just sit and wait so I could experience it for the first time with him. Really looking forward to it. Really impressed by its first showing. But this Direct has completely sold me on it. And I know that if this game had Mario on it, there would be a lot more buzz around it. It looks fantastic. Like, genuinely. The only way I could sum it up, and I was skeeting about this earlier, it's like the best Incredible Hulk game that we've never got, effectively, the one that we deserve, because that's the vibe. But it looks like there's a lot of depth here. That depth that I feel is slightly missing from Mario Kart World. And that's kind of going to round out the kind of the first launch window, I suppose, of Switch 2. Something really cool to look forward to. My son was absolutely buzzing. He was going bananas for it. But yeah, and there's a little surprise in there in terms of who's going to be joining you on your journey. I won't say on the show because I think I didn't expect that going in watching the Direct. And it looks great, man. So yeah, roll on next month. Can't wait. Switch 2 is something that is delivering on that. For that handheld experience, this is the sweet spot. You know, if I just need a wee bit more third-party support. And who knows, there'll be games there that I'll be tempted to pick up that I've played before. You know, Final Fantasy VII Remake or something like that.
You're not going to play that on your Switch. Let's be honest. You're not going to go and buy Final Fantasy VII Remake on your Switch. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You never know.
Unless somebody hands you it, it's never going to happen.
I mean, the only other game I've been touching this week, though, outside that wasn't on the Switch 2, there was other games on PlayStation that I've only really just dabbled in, but I'll talk about them next week. It's on my mobile phone, and that, of course, means it's time for a very sad Marvel Snap update. It's been a while, Scott. It has been a while. You listeners have been getting away with murder, not listening to me talk about Marvel Snap, but this is an important one, right? You know, all jokes aside. There's a return of a new and evolved mode, right? They do limited time modes, and it's just hit this week, which is High Voltage Overdrive. So it's basically just another mode that gives you a different way of playing the game. It used to be in 3 turns, now it's 4, and they've just shake things up by adding more cards into your deck, and it has like little rules, like 2 locations could get destroyed or on reveals repeat, etc. That doesn't matter. What matters is the grind. So usually with these events, it was very simple. High Voltage was good because you just had to play it, no money invested, and if you just fulfilled the missions, you could easily get to the new card at the end of it. And along the way, you would get, you know, some credits and stuff like that. And it was great. It felt really positive. Now, within the last month, Second Dinner, the developers of Marvel Snap, have also become self-published. And this has coincided at what I feel is a really bad time, because this mode is just unforgivably greedy. It's so bad. The new Series 5 card, Kid Omega, is literally unobtainable via the normal free-to-play grind. So Second Dinner are expecting you to supplement all the volts that you earn in the mode with gold that you have to pay to get. It just feels really icky, man. And it's, again, poor timing. What should be this kind of, I don't know, reclamation of themselves. Like, this is our game. Let's get more people. It's a new era of Marvel Snap. And it feels like it might be the beginning of the end for this, my beloved game. I'm just looking at it like I really want to just keep playing, having fun, but knowing that either I would have to put my hand in my pocket to get this card. There is other ways to obtain it, but you should be able to get it through this mode, as is tradition. And yeah, it's just such a shot in the foot. I wouldn't be surprised if that by this time next week they kind of course correct it. But yeah, just wanted to kind of give that little sad Marvel Snap update because it kills me, man. Like, The world
You'd
is
hope-
better when Marvel Snap is good. You know?
You'd hope that they would be smart enough that it's creating ill will and they would change it, but
Exactly.
who knows? But it also coincides with us falling into the loving arms of another card game.
Indeed. A lovely segue there. So, yeah, Scott, why don't you take it away? Because you kick things off.
Oh my goodness. So on, I want to say Saturday, me, my wife and my daughter went down to a local shopping centre to have a look at the options for Father's Day, just to see what I wanted, because it's one of those things where I've never really taken interest. I'd rather just get nothing, to be honest with you. But she was like, no, I want to get you something. So there we go. So I walked into I've not been into a HMV, Liam, and we're talking maybe 10, 15 years now. Like I used to be in HMV every single week, just going in there having a look at all the t-shirts, the DVDs and stuff. Like I had a massive DVD collection back in the day, but as I was looking through, I was greeted by the familiar look.
What name is going on here?
I have no idea. I've been greeted by the familiar look of two characters of a game franchise that I love in Cloud Strife, and Sephiroth. Is your wife dying? Is she okay?
Something is obviously really funny and she's pissing herself laughing in the living room. You just go ahead and I'm just going to mute myself and text her.
Mute yourself. So yeah, I viewed Cloud Strife and Sephiroth on the box of a Magic the Gathering starter kit, and I was weak. And in my moment of weakness, I said to my wife, "Do you know what? That's what I wanted for Father's Day," and I got it, Liam. I didn't even wait till Father's Day to open it. I opened it on the day, and I had a good look at all of those cards. And then 2 seconds later, I opened up Magic the Gathering Arena. And I started the ball rolling on Magic the Gathering Arena on my phone. But the cool thing about that is that, you know, you can scan your cards into it. So you get a code and you can load your cards into that set. So you can then use those cards in the game, basically.
Yeah.
And it kind of boosts that. But I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But I guess with time it becomes normal. But it's just cool.
Yeah, I mean... help is on the way. You know, I've been speaking to my brother-in-law, who, as we both know, is the Magic the Gathering guru, a man that knows everything about the damn game. I also invested in the Final Fantasy starter deck, but for a different reason. I'm doing it under nefarious means, which is I'm going to hold on to it. I'm looking at it myself now, and if it goes up in value, then there's a little profit to be made. Yeah, that's right. I am what's the word? Scalper.
Yeah, scalper.
If not, though, and I do actually think this will be the most likely case. It won't go up in value because it wasn't expensive, and I think I might just rip it open just to have a look, because it's been something we've talked about. There's been like the Spider-Man pack where I very nearly dipped into, the Fallout ones as well. There's so many of these little things to get into.
I saw the Final Fantasy X ones and I was like, oh my god, I saw Tidus in the front of it and I was like, I need to buy it. I need to do it. And then I looked at the price and I was like, no, you can't do that to yourself, Scott. But yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? It's cool. Like I enjoy the card game and from a collector's side of it. Playing it is different. I know, spoke to my brother-in-law, he's big into obviously card games, board games and stuff, and it's always a better experience when you have someone like that who's enthusiastic and will actually just take the time with you to learn the game so that you can all have a good experience. And that's what everybody needs, you know. And if I was less socially awkward, I'd probably, you know, be like, let's go down to a local card store or something like that, and then a beginner's night, you know, might even meet people. But, you know, I just physically can't do it. Just can't do it. Too socially awkward. But I think it's a cool thing to do if you have the minerals to be able to get yourself out your comfort zone, because you'll discover community through these card games as well, which I think is awesome. But yeah, I think the box set's cool. I'm looking at it's got Sephiroth and Cloud on there. Yeah, man, it's more stuff like this to make gamers want to, you know, take out a second mortgage. Why the hell not? No. Why the hell not? I mean, that's just kind of been the aim of the game this week. Some news, I think, going to move into now. for our dear listeners. And speaking of which, we're talking about companies wanting to get more money out of you. The Xbox this week had announced their next gen plans, Scott. Obviously, they had spoke about this earlier in the year, in about February, but this week they announced a strategic multi-year agreement with AMD. So I've got some key quotes here for listeners and for us to talk about, because I'm keen to get your thoughts on this, just to where your head's at on it all. But the Xbox president, Sarah Bond, said that Microsoft was investing in its next generation roadmap and focusing on delivering the largest technical leap that you'll ever see, or you will have ever seen in hardware generation. She also added that Microsoft is investing in its next generation hardware lineup across console, handheld, PC, cloud, and accessories, and they'll be working with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including our next generation Xbox consoles in your living room and in your hands. So, the writing's on the wall. We're going handheld. It's time, Scott. It's time. They're finally understanding that the trend here isn't to make bigger, beefier boxes, but it's to make ones that are beefy that you can put in the palm of your hands. So, Scott, what's your thoughts on it? Are you ready? Is it too early? I want to know it all.
I'm sick to death of this already, Liam. Sick to death of it already. Xbox is only getting started. Do you know what I mean? Like, get the games to work properly on your normal console before putting them on a handheld. But if it's going to be a reasonable price for it to run on it, then yeah, I mean, fair enough. But we're looking at this ROG Ally X, about £900 or something like that. It's literally going to, burn a hole in your pocket when you're using it. And I just don't get it, Liam. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it already. I'm sick of the thought of next gen, because this gen is genuinely only getting started. Like, Xbox were nowhere to be fucking seen 2 years ago. Last year they had a brilliant year. This year they're doing even better. And it's just like, listen, wind your fucking neck in a minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, just get this one right and then move ahead. Again, similarly with PlayStation, they're not faultless in this. The millisecond they start talking about their next gen of consoles, I'm going to square volley Mark Cherny right in the balls, because listen, you wait a minute. Like,
they have this week as well.
I'm getting my boots on. I'm getting my fucking boots on. Then I'm going to start walking to Mark Cherny's house, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it already. It's just ridiculous. Like, it is so unnecessary. We've spoken about it time and time again, and I think I said it months ago, in that if they were to announce a PlayStation 6, I would wait. I would genuinely don't think there's any need to go out and do it right now, because this PlayStation 5 Pro is everything that I need at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's doing everything that I need it to do. The Xbox Series X is doing everything that I need it to do. The PlayStation Portal is a brilliant wee piece of kit, but I don't see myself longing to be playing God of War on the bus. Like, I don't leave my house. I work at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't. The kind of, it's just. No. I just don't find it necessary.
Instead of the bus, though, Scott, big picture thinking, it could be the toilet. So you got to think bigger here.
I'll just aim the TV at the toilet door, just sit like that, or put a mirror in front of the toilet door and then aim it just so I can see what I'm doing. I just can't be excited about this. Like, I know games media and stuff, because they get all these fucking consoles handed to them, thrown at them, and
what's it? Larger games media.
You can't get enough controllers or enough fucking game consoles thrown at you. It's just, listen, poor people out there have to pay for these games. We're already in the midst of a cost of living crisis and potential World War III. So let's throw more Xboxes into the fucking pile to burn.
You know what?
For heat.
For science, I want Xbox to send you a free controller or some shit just to see what you do after this point. Like, go full shell.
Listen, do it. If you want to do it, fucking do it. But I don't expect it. It's just, as I say, it just feels like the wrong time for it. Like, I'm just not excited about potential of next gen at all. Like, this gen doesn't feel anywhere near complete. It doesn't even feel anywhere near fucking started. So it would be remiss for me to be like, oh my God, I can't wait. But ho hum. I'm just a fucking misery guts. I just can't be arsed with all this nonsense.
I think I'm with you on it. It's the kind of, from a hardcore gamer perspective, when we feel fatigued by it or rushed, that's a bad thing. Not that they'll care, because they're there to appease shareholders. And statements like that came out this week is effectively just for shareholders. It's just to let them know, listen, we're in a good moment and the new thing's coming that's going to help put the stock prices up, etc. Honestly, I've got a theory here when it comes to Xbox, is that I can see them making like a Series X console successor and the Series S successors actually being a handheld. That's what I can see happening here. And that kind of gives their split a little bit more because they've got the Play Anywhere tag. Not that all their games are Play Anywhere yet, but I think that's what they're working towards. Clearly, they're going after like the Steam gamers out there, the PC. They're wanting to make sure that they can access their games wherever the gamers are. That's been evident for some time. That's stating the obvious at this stage. And it makes sense, and that whilst I'm excited for what clearly is a handheld game in future, because now the technology's got to the point where you can have an Elden Ring type experience in the palm of your hands. When it comes to things like my Series X, I'm with you. Like, there's no need for me to upgrade. I love the Series X. I think it's a remarkably powerful enough machine that does any game that comes to it. Not once have I thought or worried about it. I'm thinking to myself, it's not going to be able to handle it. It's like, no, let's go. It'll run it. And then it'll be the same for all these new games that are coming. Unless they start churning out 8K games at, 240 hertz or some crap like that. Not that I think is actually technically possible, but there's no need. And I think they've realised that. They've realised they've ran out of road because the incremental improvements with the generational console approach has ran its course, and now they have to find other ways, other innovations for consumers to invest in it. And all in all, I totally agree. I don't think we're anywhere near the stage, but coming to Xbox and PlayStation, of it being time for next gen. If I look at it in the 3-act thing, I feel like the current generation has just finished Act 1 and we are just getting into Act 2. And that's because of things like the COVID-19 pandemic being the largest thing in there, and the impact on the global economy. If I look back, I think it was Gen 6, the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. That lasted about 8 years because of the global recession. But this whole 7-year model thing, it's no. And the problem is, right, with Xbox, I'm happy to just sit and wait until the Series X dies on me, or until there's a real need for me to go. But I know, and they know more importantly, PlayStation, that they have us by the short and curly, Scott. And we might want to take the moral stand, but we both know Mark Cerny's up on that stage, and a year's time, welcome to the PlayStation 6. And the only way he can deliver it, which is both chilling and oddly exciting. And we are going like that. Fuck's sake. Like,
honestly,
800 quid, and then we ho and hum, and we'll be there day one, and we'll punt our PS5 Pro to go towards it, and the cycle starts again. We're basically invested in a new piece of hardware for them every 3 years, but I am increasingly not happy about it because they have a hold on us.
Yeah, they do. And but to be honest with you, they're losing it. Not losing it, but it's a hold that's the grip is tightening less because of the lack of properly good games. Like, we're looking at Death Stranding in the next week or two, and then we're obviously going to have the Ghost of Yotei, and by golly, I was really looking forward to Marathon this year as well, which has now been delayed. But it's just this grip that they have is lessening. Like, it's nowhere near, because Game Pass and stuff like that has existed, and I've literally been playing my Xbox more than I've played my PlayStation this year, I'd say.
Same.
But it's just one of those things where the minute I see a PS6, I'm literally going to vomit into my hands. Like, if I see a PlayStation 6 before the end of this year, I will genuinely shit myself and video it. Because
it won't be this year.
Good, because I don't want to do that. But I'm still not going to be happy next year.
It It'll be the end of next year. It'll be after Summer Game Fest, and that's when the media cycle really ramps up. You're going to start to get the leaks. The same way if you cast your mind back to the Switch 2, and it's like dev kits, and then you start to get the prominent leakers like your Jeff Grubbs, and they start talking about it. We've been here before. I distinctly remember a similar feeling with the PlayStation 5, and that was about a good 2 years lead up towards it. Now, that came out in 2020, so we're on course for 2027, which means next year, we're going to be hearing about it, and it will get revealed at the start of 2027 or midway through it. And in fact, it will be summer for a release in November 2027. I would say is a pretty easy bet at this stage. So you've got another 2 years. The PS5 Pro will be technically 3 years at that point, and we won't be happy about it. But we will be there day one, because it's a cycle just keeps repeating itself. By that point, it's just been long enough where you maybe start to cast an eye elsewhere. And Xbox, though, at least catering to everybody. It's like, if you've got the device, we'll make sure the game runs on it. PlayStation are taking the more traditional approach. And I'm with you. I feel like their grip is slipping slightly. The exclusive outputs just hasn't been there. And their strategy with leaning towards more live service multiplayer games is clearly failing. And you mentioned it there. So speaking of that, we also got news this week that Marathon from Bungie has been delayed indefinitely. Next piece of news for you. Bungie announced this week that they're delaying the new extraction shooter Marathon indefinitely. I've got the statement here, Scott. Basically, what they said, they released it a couple of days ago. Over the next few months, we'll continue closed testing, including participants from the alpha, to deploy gameplay updates and test new features as they come online. Some of our immediate focus areas will be upping the survival game, doubling down on the Marathon universe, and adding more social experiences. Now, that's a very, whistle-stop tour of the full announcement. You can get that on the Bungie website and go into a bit more detail. The main thing here is that it's delayed, and I don't think we're going to see this game, Scott. I think that PlayStation are quite rightfully so petrified of having another Concord on their hands. Would Marathon be that? I don't necessarily think so, because they've got the pedigree there. But with the alpha and the beta recently, it didn't set the world on fire, and it's always had this feeling of being undercooked. And it clearly has been received that way. On the one hand, I applaud Bungie for at least having the balls to come out and be like, we're just going to delay it, and we're not going to tell you when it's done. But it's like the age-old saying, you can't put glitter on a dog shite. So it's one of those ones where it might be too far gone into what it is, that it's just not got the pull. And again, Sony finding themselves that chasing that particular trend, the Jim Ryan era, has just not bared fruit. Not bared fruit at all.
Yeah, pretty much said everything you need to say about it. It just feels like an absolutely mental decision. But it's, I guess the only thing you've got going for it is Bungie. Do you know what I mean? Like,
pedigree.
That's the only thing that you can be like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looks and sounds horrendous. And that's before you've even delved into, its delay, the fact that it's stealing art, everything else that you've got happening at Bungie and stuff as well. It's just ridiculous. But I don't know. In my head, I'm like, it's never going to see the light of day. But I think that it's what's the better play here? Do you put it out and it does terribly, or do you put it down before it hurts itself? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the right answer there, to be honest with you. I think that both harm Bungie and Sony in different ways. I just don't know, Liam. I really don't. It's a scary time for Bungie fans, for all the people at Bungie, I'm sure. I mean, I think it's scary for them, but I think ultimately, if it fails, then they just get absorbed into the PlayStation Studios family, and then make Destiny 3. I think that's what they should have done in the first place, to be honest with you, is just focus on advancing the storyline in Destiny and doubling down on that, because the fan base is there. I just think it's extraction shooters. Extraction shooters are shite, Liam. They've never been good. Like, the worst part of the Division was the extraction shooting part.
Mm.
Every single time I've watched anyone play like Escape from Tarkov and stuff, it's always boring as sin.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a load of shite. I don't understand the hype. I think that it's just such a weird genre to chase. And yeah, I just make Destiny 3 and get it over and done with.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Rainbow Six Siege to thank for it, which was a freak success. You know, nobody expected the longevity that game to have, and still to this day, it's impressive. But that is what it is. It's a one-off.
But that was examples. With Siege, though, it was a very, very committed band of people who kept on playing it. Like, it wasn't a massive success to begin with. No. I mean, granted, it done really well, but it's just been really successful over time and managed to carry this base with them, which is then exploded. But that's then the double-edged sword, is that you're not going to get results in the first. You might not get the results that you want in the first 2 weeks. It might just be a slow burn, and then you give it time. But that's things that these games don't have, is time. Especially fucking Concord. Do you know what I mean? We could have been sitting in a world where Concord is being played by more than 10 people now, Liam.
I mean, that's the thing. Concord wasn't bad. You know, we both played it. I thought at the time there was something there to it. It wasn't like the best thing ever, but we both, I remember saying at the time after playing the beta, there was something to it, and it should have probably been given a bit more of a chance. But it goes to show you how ruthless it is now out there, particularly in that multiplayer space. And all it takes is for the likes of Nobel to be tweeting they've got 20 concurrent players on Steam, which doesn't tell the whole picture, but it doesn't tell a good one. And you know yourself, right, this isn't doing well. And that, I don't think we've really properly ingested how significant a failure that was for Sony to take that off the shelves the way they did and refund 2 weeks after it came out. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. It's
going to be an incredible Jason Schreier story in some point. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have. We've obviously seen the Blizzard stories and books and stuff that he's written. We're going to see the Jim Ryan era book. Do you know what I mean? God. Like, if that's not already in the offing right now, then you can thank me there, Jason. But it's because I know he listens.
That's it.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous that we're in this place. And Sony are just. I think you could forgive Sony if they were putting out games alongside it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were making up for it, but they're just not. Like, it's pure shite.
I'm hoping that maybe end of this month, the Death Stranding 2, and like you mentioned, Ghost of Yoti and stuff. I'm hoping by the end of the year we feel a little bit more positive on it, and they've maybe announced a few more games exclusive that are coming. I know, like with the State of Play recently, it was great. It was like, yeah, there's still stuff there, but I think it's just with PlayStation, that's the place where I go for the elite exclusives, and that's what it's lacking. And it's even if Death Stranding comes out and it's a 9 or a 10 out of 10, and to me, it's still not going to be an elite. It's going to be a very hardcore bougie game that's, you know, fantastic to play. But you know, Kojima himself wants it to be polarizing as hell. And we'll save all that part for when
I can't wait.
Played it, right?
I can't wait.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's been that's what I mean. There's been ups and downs this week, but I thought it was important that we touch on it because that's what's happening out there. And for a lot of the people that listen to our show, like, we do feel that responsibility to like kind of let you know, because there's some greedy ass people out there that are just waiting. A lot of people aren't in that kind of hardcore space. I would say that the normal gamer out there aren't rushing out like us, being like duped into spending 700 quid on a PlayStation 5 Pro straight away. There will be ones that do as well, but they are very much in the hardest of hardcore. Most people won't spring in until a couple of years into the generation. In fact, there's people I know that have probably just got a PS5 a year or so ago, and it's like, what, there's another one? You know, and there is that feeling of like not being left behind, but you're like, you know, am I going to be able to play the latest games and stuff? And that cross-generational thing has been very evident this time round, hence why it doesn't feel like it's ready for the next gen, and hence why a lot of the punts have been taken. When they don't land, you're feeling a little bit empty at the end of it. But hey, well, that's just the nature of things. But some would say that multiplayer games just aren't the way forward when it does come to your game, and some would say actually the best thing to do is to just play one game and play it right through to the end. and complete it 100%. So that leads us on to our main topic this week, Scott, which of course we have titled, "Is 100% completion even worth it anymore?" Now, to set the scene, because this is one I've been really excited to talk about. You know, we all live very busy lives, as we're all adults right here. We have kids, many of us, and listen to the show, bloody well hope so anyway. Juggling work, them, your partner, etc., whatever it may be, the dog, cat, you've got other things to do. So when you sit down and we say 100% a game, Scott, that's a big ass commitment.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And really what I want to dig into with both of us this week is that still worth it, you know, at this stage of life? Or is it the only way? You know, is it the right way? Is it the wrong way? I want to get your thoughts.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask, seeing it's literally my entire personality this year. Having done it with, you know, every single Grand Theft Auto since 3. Yeah. But it goes to the very early conversations that we were having on the show, and that it's all about value and what you ascertain in terms of value from video games. Is that going to be just a one and done type thing? Are you going to be happy with just getting it over and done with? Or do you feel the need to bleed that motherfucker dry for everything that it's got to give you? And it depends on the game, to be honest with you. Sometimes I'm satisfied, sometimes I'm not. But there is something quite nice about, you know, seeing that number flash up and being like, yeah, I've done that. And then immediately after, you close the game and delete it from your PlayStation and never play it again. So it's a hollow victory.
It is a bit. You know, I do think that it comes down to the person as well. Yeah. And there's a lot of things, like when we talk about, like, if you're a mature gamer at this point and you're juggling responsibilities, and the value aspect is a huge thing, but it's also like the return you're getting on your time as well as your money. Which is why I do think, you know, that there is a school of thought around, should we make games shorter? And I know that there's many people that are in favour of that, I would say, that are not in favour of it because they want to have these big games that you can live in and 100% complete. Well, we're just talking about trends. The old trend used to be make every game an open world and, you know, just become item daft and collectibles and all that stuff. But you didn't have to do it. You could still get the main experience, roll credits, off you go. And the 100% completion was there if you really wanted it. And I think that, personally, you know, it is worth it if it's something that A, brings you joy, if it's a form of comfort. And there's been certain games that have done that to me now at this stage of life. But it's that value thing, which is huge. But it's, from our perspective, when you're trying to juggle lots of things and you maybe have lots of games to play, or if you want to play, this is where the backlog comes into things as well. And there's the 100% completion best of intentions is absolute rocket fuel to the log. It demands it, you know, to the altar of the log. That's what gets you there when you think, I'm going to 100% a game, because it's either going to build it up for you, or it's going to stop you from getting there effectively, because you need to go through to tackle that log. But context is important here, and we're talking about the now, but let's talk about the before, Scott. Right? Were we completionists before? Because the both of us have noticed the changes that we're more likely to complete a game to 100% or as close to that for the platinum, and that wasn't something I think that we were big on doing before we became old dads, before we were older, grumpier. Did we just roll credits, or, you know, did we ever get that far when we had the time? You know, that was kind of, how would you have described yourself beforehand when it comes to completing games?
It's quite an interesting question, because it's not really one that I ever thought about. Like, I don't think there was ever a point in my mind where I would have 100% of the game. Like a proper game, like maybe like a Mario or something like that, it would have been done like in the olden days, but not now, or not then, sorry. I would say that if you want a definitive starting point where the 100% started, it was Neo 2. Like I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it was the moment Neo 2 came out. And it just clicked, and maybe that was the catalyst for it all. I don't really know. I don't really I can't really remember what I was like when I was younger. If there was ever a point in my head where I was like, I need to do everything. I'm sure there was, but it was never like a driving force in it all. The PlayStation 3 generation, maybe, with the introduction of like trophies and stuff like that, and that being a big part of that, potentially something there. But I don't think there's a definitive moment where I was like, I know there's a moment where I started doing the 100% challenges and what I was doing with it, but there was never a switch flicked in my head to be like, that is now my entire personality. You know, every single moment of my life is going to be made important through the pursuit of online trophies.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wish. I wish I had the time for that.
It's until you get to the point where you're playing fucking Peppa Pig games for trophies and I Am Bread and all these stupid games. It's like, no, that's maybe a wee bit much.
But if you're wanting to get that score up, man, you've got to take the wins when you get them.
It's stupid because in the conversation with Greg Miller, he's now become like, you know, a big advocate for not chasing these trophies and stuff, and he was saying that himself, like swinging around this online deck saying that you've got this many trophies and points and stuff like that. It's like, to a point, it's just ridiculous. I'm kind of on that flip side where in some cases I'm like, 100% everything and you know, boost that score, but I don't really do it for the score. I just do it for the experience of the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's never the most important part.
I mean, if I think about the before, I would, to simply put it, there was three types of gamers. There was the one that played GTA to fanny about. There's the ones that rolled credits on the story at least, and there was the ones that completed it, like everything. Hardly anybody did that. Most people fannied about, and the more hardcore gamers, I suppose, out there when you were younger would be in the middle. They'd finish the story because that was always the thing for me. And I found when I was very young, I'd be more of an addict to the gameplay loop of anything else. So it would be like the, you know, fanning about in GTA or like playing, you know, Spider-Man games just to roll the credits and that type of stuff, and just kind of going in and doing the same thing again and again and again, and not really being fussed, feeling pressure on myself to do it. It's like, I'm just enjoying playing this game for what it is. Then as I get older, there's certain games that, you know, that I would notice a change in behaviour. Mario Kart will be one. You know, like I had to get the 3 stars and all the courses and try and unlock mirror mode and all the rest of that. And that would be something effectively, it's like, nope, I don't feel like I've finished this game until I've done that. Pokemon, it's another one. You know, going for the 151 was the first experience I remember getting that. And I still remember that moment, sitting at the back garden and starting a new game after I had the 151. I had put hundreds of hours into it, traded, you know, done people out of deals with the link cable just to get what I needed, got Mew, everything. I was so proud of it, but I had to restart it just because I wanted to try again. Foolishly, shouldn't have done it. I regretted it immediately, but at that moment when you press the button, there's no going back. And then moving forward into adulthood, I think it was when I was first given an opportunity to review games. That's where my habits had changed, and that would be, I'd be stuck there for a while up until becoming a dad, which was I would then just play games, I would roll credits, move on to the next thing, and I would be treating every game like a review, which is like, I've seen enough of it, but I don't have to 100% complete it. I'm learning that from my peers, because, you know, when you get any game review, unless it's particularly short, it's very unlikely they're going to be 100% completing the game, but they're going to be playing enough of it to criticise it, analyse it, and give you a verdict on it based on their own opinion. And I was able to do that. You'd remember I'd be flying through games at some pace just because I was able to just streamline how I'd be approaching games. And then the wee one comes along. And that's the now, which I would describe, you know, both of our habits have changed, but that was the turning point for me to become more completionist mindset. Now, it was interesting you talked about the interview that we did with Greg a couple of months ago. What a plug. Name dropping. But it was interesting to note that, I mean, he's probably went the other way. because he's in a very different position where he has to play a lot of things for content, and that must be a blessing and a curse. And you have to be more selective, and he doesn't get the time to be as completionist mindset because that time is now taken up with balance of things. We are a bit more fortunate in that sense, where we can be a bit more selective. But when the wee one had come along, that taught me at that moment 100% completion actually is worth it, particularly as a new parent when funds are all of a sudden strapped, in the sense that you're like, oh, right, hello, maternity pay. And you're just kind of like, we need to rebalance everything financially, rebalance everything about your time. So it was a case of, what game do I want to sit down and really play? And that's when the comfort food really kicked in, And for me, the thing that changed about it, because I do tend to try at least go in with more of an intention to 100%, or at least get a platinum a game more often now, is the value for money part of it. I think that's something that's definitely worth lingering on here. The first one I remember doing it with was Assassin's Creed Origins. I think that was the first platinum I got. Now, I know in the past it was different with achievements. I would like to try, I would always go and try to get like 1,000 achievement score, and I would always try and get as much as I can. Like Batman Arkham Asylum was the one that really changed my mind on that, but it wasn't the same. Assassin's Creed Origins, I remember just sitting playing that, and it was just that feeling, knowing that I'm just able to just make progress and it chip towards a goal and do that in my spare time, that I found so appealing, but I also felt like it's not a waste.
The good thing with the Batman games, though, is that my dog has now decided to drink and eat. It's ridiculous. If you've heard it in the last 5 minutes, it's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're animal fans and you're getting your money's worth tonight. But the kind of Batman series and even like your Grand Theft Auto is the best thing that they do is they give you the percentage. So like you see it slowly creep up, and there's nothing better than seeing that number go up. And I don't know if there's a correlation now. Kind of stick with me here because it kind of seems like it would be counterproductive, but there's something to be said about playing the same game every single night for smaller periods of time than playing it the same, like playing it over a long period of time, but over a different number of days. Yeah. If that makes sense, like playing a Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, maybe 2 or 3 hours a night, instead of having to play it 10 hours a day every single day to get it. It almost seems less egregious in that way. And somehow that makes it easier. So maybe the limitations that we have because of the family life that we live is conducive to wanting to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's a strange correlation in my head. I don't know why that is, but it's something that there's purpose there. I now have purpose, that when I'm going to go and play something, I'm not just ambling about and playing things willy-nilly. There's something there that I actually want to do, and it gives me reason to live,
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big switch for sure. It's the principle of it all, I suppose. Like, there's nothing worse now. I can't cope with when I'm sitting down kids are in their bed, I've done everything I need to do for the day, I've got a bit of free time, and I've got nothing that I've got stuff to play, but I'm so indecisive and I can't play it. Like, I'm at my happiest when I've got something that I'm chipping away at, and that's why I am an advocate for these big, chunky, particularly single player type games where it is like there's so much content. Hence why I'm the sickle of, like, the Assassin's Creed games, for example, spring to mind all the time. But if there's nothing more satisfying to me than the start of that journey, even like Elden Ring came to mind as well. And I know we dabbled in the co-op experience of that as well, but it was also like, right, when you can't do that, there was always something to do. Yeah. You chip away at your build and you get better, and you can find something cool and then bring that to the table, because it had the community aspect of it as well, of like, look, I found this, or did you know you could go there and get that? Let's go check it out. And that for me was what I find insanely appealing about the whole like 100% completion angle since becoming a parent. I want to go back to the value for money aspect of it though, because we talked about this off the show, and I just don't know if I think a lot of content creators, games media that are probably about the same size as ourselves will definitely appreciate it, because you're not in the position where you're getting a lot of things sent to you for free to review, for example. You're paying for this out of your own pocket like everybody else. And I think with that, the need, the necessity, the feeling, or the intention, I would say, to 100% complete a game is all the more stronger, because you have to be more selective, more decisive in the games that you pick, and you don't want to be as frivolous. And also, now that the kids are getting older, I want to set an example for them. And I had this moment, I was thinking about it in preparation for the show, and I was watching my son playing the Switch 2, and he's like, I want to play this, I want to play that, no, I'm going to play this, and just hopping between them all. And then I became my father. And I says, son, back in my day, we didn't have all these games to play. You played one game and you rinsed it. And I thought, right, maybe I was telling a bit of a white lie. I would never actually 100% statistically complete it as a kid. But you had one game and you rattled that until you were fortunate enough probably to get another game on your Christmas or birthday. That was it. And I thought, I'm so happy that he's got that open to him, but I'm like, I don't think I'm doing him any favours. And I did have the thought, should I steer him towards more of a completion mindset, in the sense that at least get as much value for yourself out of it before you move on? And that's different for people. It might not be 100% statistically, but at least roll credits. At least, at least try. And I know when you're crap at games, so it's really hard to do that. But I'm just trying to instill that.
Speak for yourself, mate.
No, it's true though. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than watching a child play a game. But there is a value aspect to it that I think that should be part of the conversation, and I think it should be part from the completion and also game length.
Game length. I think you are right in terms of wanting to steer them down a path where they appreciate the value of games and the work that goes into making them. But if you can remember being that age and playing anything, Liam, you didn't care. It was just ingest everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, throw it all into you and then see what sticks. With the best will in the world, kids in the family and stuff, I want them to go and be playing games like Ghost of Tsushima or Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I was talking to my nephews this week, even though I've not played it myself, but games like that. And I was like, look, these are there. And what are they playing? EAFC, Call of Duty, like Rainbow Six Siege. They have no interest in it. And it's just, you're fighting a losing battle with it, but it's a battle that inevitably they do come round, because I've still got my nephew stuck on the fire giant at Elden Ring. Cannot beat this fire giant, and he has been there for about 6 months. It's just like, we need to try and do it. So I said to him, next time just invite me in and I'll help him with it. But it's with the best will in the world, you want to teach your kids to game a certain way or be a certain way around games and stuff, and ultimately they'll make their own decision on it. And if they want to complete games, they complete games. But I think it's just, as you get older, it's just something that you naturally fall into. And it becomes important to you. Like, as I say, it's only happened to us within the last 4 or 5 years. So like you're obviously like, yours is in your 40s or some point, and mine like early 30s. So
my kids are at uni.
So it's just like, it's one of those things where even we hypocrites at this point, do you know what I mean? But you're absolutely right. There's a correlation there between understanding the value of the game itself and the time that it gives you, and getting 100% on it is testament to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're not just expendable, and you're firing your way through them. Like Death Stranding 2, for example. I will, and I say this now for the listeners, I will 100% and get the platinum trophy on that game, because I am fucking obsessed with it. Like, obsessed with Death Stranding and everything that it gives me. Will I do that with a Ghost of Yoti when it comes out? Maybe not. You will, but maybe not initially for me. Like, there's games that I know for a fact that I won't even think about it. But there are games where, I'll have a good look at it and then make that decision. Do you know what I mean? But I think I've also, and this is maybe something to touch on here, but I think I've also sickened myself a wee bit for the 100% grind after doing it with every single Grand Theft Auto. Like,
Of course, man.
Grand Theft Auto has broken me a little bit inside, and it'll be a while before I do it again.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks. Oh, that's true. That's very true. God.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you've picked. They are gargantuan games, and GTA 5 is one of the few games I remember before becoming a parent 100%. I think the correlation between the platinum grind is huge because that's where the appeal really kicked in. And for me, I treat platinums almost as a checklist of I've seen everything this game has to offer. So when I commit to a platinum, there isn't anything related to difficulty because I have the option to still do it and turn it down if I need to. With the exception of like Elden Ring and Bloodborne, it's a flex, big deal. But there's the ones that they don't necessarily always have it, but I like to have that option because then I've got that in the back of my mind. It's like I can still chill, can still do what I need to do, and just if there's some like miscellaneous stuff, I don't really have to worry about if I fall into combat, so I can just batter through that and just do what I need to do. But yeah, it's definitely something that, as we've become parents, I feel that there may be a lot more out there. I'd be intrigued to hear actually if there's any of the listeners that have noticed a change in themselves. Do they think 100% completion is worth it for them? I mean, you're listening to two of us. I think we're both in the consensus that it's very person centered for us. It feels like it is worth it because there's value in getting more out of the game. I think it's just not to be wasteful, and I think there must be something that correlates as you get older, like you mentioned, Scott. It's about the appreciation. It's the slow gaming movement of it all. But that's us now. How do we feel this continues, in the after? Because as we know, games are getting more pricey. The $80 era, £80 era is here. Should we brace ourselves to really get in a more of a completionist mindset, whether that is a platinum or 100% stats within it, to get more of what we need to out of these, what is becoming an ever increasing gaming investment? Is that the way forward?
I think it's only natural, to be honest with you. As game prices increase, it's going to be like having that one game. Do you know what I mean? Like when you were younger, is that you've got that and you'll play that. Do you know what I mean? Like shut up, like go upstairs and play it. It will very much just be that way because who can afford to go out and buy all these games one after another? Like it takes careful, what's the word, planning and
Hustling.
Yeah, it does, it really does. And that's why this year I'm only buying 4 games, which I think I've already broken that truth, but there's ways of getting around it. The ombudsman doesn't work here.
It's happening soon. I actually might say to Alex if he would become the ombudsman, just to hold your ass
just to hold me accountable.
I
actually don't think I have, to be honest with you. I think I'm on 3. Like, I think I am, because some of the games have already been bought, so I think I've got 1 free for the rest of the year.
I think for next year you might have to just up the number slightly, but to include voucher purchases.
Well, I've not included voucher purchases or games that have already been bought. So, but no, it's true though. Like if you've got a month like March or early last year, we were buying a game every single week. It felt like, do you know what I mean? It was ridiculous, and it's just not going to be feasible anymore with the prices of these games and stuff. And now you've got more consoles to play them on. Like you're going to have games coming out for the Switch, like Donkey Kong Bonanza coming next month. Do you know what I mean? What's that, 60 odd quid or something like that?
$57.99 or $58.99, I think. I don't know if that's physical or digital. There's a wee bit of kind of differing pricing on it. It's weird how it's worked out, but yeah,
it's
in the ballpark.
It's just one of those things where there's more games than ever, and they're all going to cost more. But if you've only got the option to play one, play it and finish it and do everything that you can. Do you know what I mean?
Play it till it's done.
It is.
Only play one, play it till it's done. That's what we say in this show. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, if it is like having that mindset, I do believe it's worth it. To answer our own question, I do believe it is worth it, though, Scott. I think now more than ever, I concur with everything that you've said. If you're putting if you're putting your hand in your pocket for more money, you expect to get more out of it. And that's not even including like a DLC or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I look at the likes of, say, Indiana Jones, for example, and they've got an expansion coming. By the time you've bought all that, you could have spent upwards of £100 on that whole experience if you weren't savvy. You know, if you just bought that off the PlayStation or Xbox store. Yeah, I don't really feel that we should have to apologise for that at all. Not that anybody's asking us to, but I think it's important. And then when you chuck in, you know, if you've got older kids, they want games as well. And, you know, not every game that your kid wants is necessarily one that you want as well. So it does start to become quite expensive fast.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any top tips? Because you're right, you are more of the completionist between us. We both have a type of game that we will naturally gravitate towards of like, I'm going to 100% that. You've mentioned it earlier, Death Stranding 2. You know, it's like, no, I'm going to take my sweet ass time to sit here. I did it previously with Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's like, yep. And by 100%, we mean either get the platinum or that statistical 100%. Do you have any top tips for any fellow parent adult gamers that are listening just now when they're selecting the next game? You know,
I think suspend all belief that you're going to do it naturally. Like, because you're not getting 100% in a game just by making your way through it. Like, use a guide immediately. I think I said this to you when you were doing Bloodborne and stuff, is that use the guide. Like, you still have to play the game. Don't be afraid to use a guide. Just use that. And if you have any issues with it, then then you can consult somewhere else. But use the guides. That's the biggest advice I can give to anyone. There's guides on the internet for it. Use them and you'll make your way through it as easy as possible.
Yeah. I think that's a great piece of advice, man. Myself, I would say, it sounds obvious, but enjoy it and take all pressure off yourself. Like, when you're in that grind, and I think right now the FOMOing can be real, and we probably contribute towards that as well when sitting talk about, like, you know, all these new releases and stuff, but it's like, we're doing that because we're saddos and we're doing this podcast, but it's, you know, take your time with it, make an event of it, carve out your time. You might only get 45 minutes in the day to sit and do it, but just have a clear goal in mind. I really enjoy like making notes as I go along with these type of journeys. More so it's like, right, I want to do X, I want to do Y, and it keeps myself focused because you never know when that next session could come. And I found that was quite good early on, particularly I think it was like God of War, the platinum, doing 100% in that. Just kind of making sure, like, right, next time I pick this up, I know exactly where I'm going. And that took the pressure off it. And it also cut down in time, and I maximised my sessions when I was on that journey to do it. And that's just like notes on my phone, you know, just kind of keep yourself right. It's kind of micro journaling, I suppose, as well. But I will say it is so worth it because every single time I do it, I walk away with such a deep appreciation of the game and a feeling of satisfaction. And there has been games I've 100%ed. In fact, the vast majority I've hardly I've not turned them on again. Very rare occasions, God of War being one of them. A couple other ones might want to talk about later that I've went back to. But I booted up Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for example. A game that, yes, I 100%ed. It was an Odyssey. That was months of my life gone. And I feel like I have, like, I think back in my time with that like it was a holiday. Even though that took multiple, you know, dozens and dozens of sessions to achieve that, it was worth it. And I think those moments of escapism are so valuable, particularly if you're juggling those extra responsibilities in life, whether it is the kids, whether it is your job, whatever it is. I think just if you enjoy this hobby that we're all gathering around as a community, which is gaming, hell yes, it's worth it. But my advice is take your time, enjoy it, make an event out of it. That's all I really have to say on that, Scott. There's so many good options out there when it comes to it. And on that note, I think that brings us on to the next segment of the show. It does mean that it's time for the Pixel Pick Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on in the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend and pass on to the next generation of gamers. Now, last week's theme was Best Ubisoft Game, with Far Cry 3 becoming the latest addition to the list. And in this week's Showdown, we're going to be debating what best game is worth completing 100% we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. Now, following that discussion, Scott, it could be a game that you statistically could complete 100%, or at least as close to, but that's what we're talking about here. So as always, last week's winner goes last. Now, would that be me?
Yes, you go last, I go first.
Okay, so give me your honourable mention and your pick, because this is going to be good. We're going to have totally different picks this week, which is what I'm enjoying about Phase 2.
Don't think we will, but I've got a little bit of a wee bit of background in history for you, and that I have a few here for you that I want to bring up. So obviously, to talk about, if you're talking about just the 100% run, forgetting about the platinum trophies and stuff, Grand Theft Autos are your bread and butter, and they're brilliant for what they give you in terms of you get to experience and live the life in that world. And 5 does it better than all the rest. You literally live and breathe Grand Theft Auto 5. By the time you get 100% in that game, you have done everything there is to offer and more. 100% in Metal Gear Solid 5 as well. I had an absolutely brilliant time with that. Say what you want about the story and the fact that it's unfinished, but by the end of it, I was Venom Snake, not Big Boss. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I was Venom Snake, and as I think I said this to you last week, in that you learn more about that game in that 100% run than you ever do in the normal tapes and stuff. Even just learning it through osmosis in terms of the game that you play, it's ridiculous. But honourable mention for this week, I think it's a game you actually just mentioned. I'll talk about the second in the franchise, but God of War Ragnarok is a great platinum, but I think that it feels a little bit bloated in terms of God of War 2018, which is my honourable mention for this week. I think that if you're looking for a platinum that just is an extension of that story, and it doesn't do it in a way that makes you go out your way to do everything, and that you could literally walk through that game and do everything you need to do one at a time, and then you've got all the Valkyrie fights, you've got all the crows and stuff that you have to get, and as you do it, you are getting stronger, you're learning more about yourself, you're getting gear and stuff like that as you do it. It's just a phenomenal time. It's a testament to a platinum trophy in terms of you don't feel like you're going out your way to do anything. It just all naturally happens, and it's brilliant. But my choice for this week is a game that does that, but I feel also does it better than God of War 2018. And it is also another game from 2018, and also another PlayStation game made by Insomniac, which is Marvel's Spider-Man. And had to check and make sure it wasn't on the list, but Marvel's Spider-Man from Insomniac Games in 2018 is again a testament to a platinum trophy. You are Peter Parker by the end of it. You know every single nook and cranny of that city. Like you're living and breathing that world. You have collected every single suit in human history, and it doesn't feel like the second one where you've collected every single suit, but also every single colour variant that you could ever even imagine. It just feels right in terms of you get your wee bit of backstory about the suit itself, and then you can use it, and it just fits. It just feels right. The story, it doesn't take you long to get through the story, but getting a platinum trophy on that game, I don't think it takes you very long as well. If I was to look at, time to platinum on it,
it's under 30 hours.
It will be under 30 hours. I don't even think it's anywhere around 25 to 30 hours to platinum Marvel Spider-Man. So it is just ridiculous. And again, you become Spider-Man by the end of this. Like you're walking through this game. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like that meme where he's literally walking about and all the kind of different things are flying in front of him and stuff. It's just, you're fine and it's great. But the best thing to be said, the best platinums, and I said it there, are the ones that don't make you feel like you're going out your way to do everything. Is that you complete the game, you've maybe got a couple of things there to do on top, but it's not a bloated experience. Like it's not bloated for the platinum. And Marvel Spider-Man doesn't bloat itself to make you play everything and become that. it's just the right amount of challenge and exploration, and an excitement to make you want to do it. And yeah, that's why it is my choice for this week.
Smashing. Well, I'll kick things off with my honourable mention. I've mentioned it before, but I had to, which is Assassin's Creed Origins. I do think that this is it's a platinum, but to do that you have to 100% it, and it's so worth it. I think that do everything that's in the game there, you will get the platinum, and that includes every single event location in the game. It will take you some time. It will take you about 80 odd hours, 90 odd hours to do it. It's an experience, but it's a big time investment. Hence why it's my honourable mention this week, because, if I tell anybody, do that, it's 90 hours of your time, they're going to think that I'm a fucking psychopath. It's like, yeah, you're going to spend more than 2 working weeks of your life on this. So I couldn't quite make it that. But then I thought about what's my logic for the main pick this week. I started on 1 and it was a 2, and I ended up on 1. It's the same one this week, which is Marvel Spider-Man. But I'll tell you why. And my first initial thought was Marvel Spider-Man 2, because it's the one that I've done most recently. Whilst it is technically, a better made game, there's more things in that to do it, I felt that it probably undershot the 100%. I didn't feel as satisfied. I felt like I expected this to be a sequel. It should have more in it. I feel like it really didn't cut that this time around. Not that I didn't enjoy it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a perfect way to design a platinum trophy, is to get you to 100% complete it. But with Marvel Spider-Man, which is, just for official sake, my pick this week, I think that is a perfect example of a game that rewards you for 100%ing it. It doesn't waste your time, doesn't ask a lot of your time, and I think it's realistic for most gamers out there to do it. In fact, I think it's, if you look at the statistics on it, it's quite a high percentage of gamers have the platinum trophy on it. And it's all it's asking you to do is just what's in front of you. And I think that's remarkable, considering it's an open world game. It's a superhero game, which usually has a lot of tat around it, but it respects the player and it encourages you to do it. It makes it attainable, but you could do this in hard mode, normal, easy, however you want to do it. So really, if it was one that you even wanted to do with the kids, if you've got kids that maybe are at the age where they've got the dexterity to kind of handle Spider-Man, then they could feasibly 100% this with you, which I think adds to this being a worthy addition on the list. And you get to the end of it and you feel so satisfied by it. And it's like, yeah, like you says, I'm Spider-Man and I'll put this down. And it's not to the sense that you won't want to pick it up again. It still was a game that I go back to, and it still is a game that I go back to this day, including the sequel. But I feel that from a 100% perspective, the first one just pips it. I think I can't really get it more than that. I feel like it just felt like the right length for what the game was.
I agree with you. 100%. That's the reason why I picked it, to be honest with you. It just felt like a nicer experience. I remember doing it with 2 and being like, oh, for fuck's sake, right, here we go. It felt annoying at points, but the first one was a breeze, and that's what it's supposed to be. Unless you're an absolute maniac and enjoy that pain, then, that's for you. But yeah, Spider-Man was the easy choice on this.
Yeah.
Not picking God of War's obviously already on the list already, so it couldn't have gone on there anyway. But if it wasn't on the list, I potentially could have picked it. I have been feeling the pangs for Ragnarok all over again. To go back and have a wee playthrough of it. I've not done it in a long time, so there's been a part of me that's like, I could go back and do it just for fun, but another time maybe.
Yeah, I think, for me, I will go back and do it. I did it with 2018. I won't 100% it again. One's enough for me.
Oh, 100%.
But it's just to experience the story. But you're right, both of them are also honourable mentions, because what they ask, I think Sony have hit the sweet spot when it comes to encouraging completion on games, in the sense that they tied the platinum trophy to it, and they learned don't add difficulty to it. So God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Forbidden West, another one. That's a great one to go after to complete.
Astrobot?
It's the Astrobot as well. To be fair, that could have been one that you could have added, because that's a thoroughly enjoyable pick, but I don't know if that's on the list. Keep that up our sleeves. Maybe there's a best platinum trophy one down the line. But yeah, a massive congratulations to our friendly neighbourhood Marvel's Spider-Man. You are the next addition to the Pixel Picks list as the best game that's worth 100% completing. And that, Scott, brings us to an end to this week's podcast. So thank you once again for joining us, and remember to support small independent games media. So if you like what you hear and enjoyed the podcast, please share this on social media, tell your friends about us, or leave us a wee 5-star review. Of course, that really does help us out. It makes a huge difference. So Scott, test time. Where can people engage, find you on Blue Sky if they wish to chat with you about what games they should 100%?
Let's engage and network together on Blue Sky at llamaman.bsky.social. I can't wait to network so deep.
That's it. It's like a creepy LinkedIn. That's the tagline for it. For me, if you want to come find me online, I am at carmelite.bsky.social. And of course, a massive thank you to our producer and music man, the talented, handsome, and wonderful Mr. Sean Murray. Please go show him some love and check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. And you can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms, and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. And of course, if you wish to, write into us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
Spider-Man.